shelter was established in 1988 by the Tralee Urban District Council. It was named after Michael O'Callaghan, commonly known as Mikey. Inspector O'Callaghan, who died on February 12, 1984, was one of the original founding members of the Kerry Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. He voluntarily dedicated most of his free time to working with the society at every level. He worked tirelessly to relieve animal suffering in every way. Mikey was the first inspector to win 2 silver medals for animal welfare. This involved profound courage and personal danger when he rescued a dog that had fallen down a deep well shaft. The local fire brigade had decided that the shaft was too dangerous for anyone to go down. Michael insisted on being lowered to the bottom and succeeded in bringing a very frightened dog up to the surface. We posed some questions to James Cronin, who is a local horse inspector working with the Kerry County Council.
The function of the dog pound, I suppose, primarily is picking up stray dogs, as the name suggests. We also handle unwanted dogs and dangerous dogs, and rehoming, and we enforce the Control of Dogs Act 1986, 1992. A dog licence is a very important part of the thing here as well, the wardens. We have more licences the second highest in Ireland. The population of Kerry is 139,835, and we have 19,138 licences, individual licences, and it's the second highest, 13.68% of population. I think Cork is higher than us. We're quite proud about that, and that's a good figure. You know, that's for the year 2010.
The shelter is located in Tralee Town Centre, County Kerry. The Kerry SPCA is located directly behind the shelter. These 2 organisations work hand in hand for the welfare of animals throughout the county.
We work in conjunction with the KSPCA. We are open from 9 to 5, 10 o'clock in the morning really, till 5 in the afternoon. And by and large KSPCA work after dark. And their work is mainly in the cruelty line. We are on the day-to-day handling of dogs and the unwanted dogs. The KSPCA, as the name suggests, is the prevention of cruelty to animals. But we do work hand in hand together, and our premises are adjacent to each other.
We spoke to Amy Smith, a member of the public who has interacted with the pound on a number of occasions. She has adopted a dog from the organisation. She tells us her story.
It was a very good experience. They took care of the dogs very well in there, and they were happy to see someone come along and give them a good home, and they were very nice people in there.
The Kerry Dog Pound performs a temperament test before placing any animal up for adoption. This determines if the animal is adoptable, and if so, what environment it would be best suited. The animals that are not suitable for adoption are humanely euthanized, as it would not be safe to place them in a family home. James is demonstrating the method used when attempting to control and capture a dangerous or nervous dog.
This instrument is called a dog pole or a dog catcher. It's basically a snare, and it's usually to protect the warden from being bitten by. Some dogs can be quite vicious if they haven't been previously socialized or handled by people. And basically the way it works is like this, a little snare. You sneak it over the dog's head like this, and then you pull the lead from here, and the dog is under control. It's a very good shelter. You know, we can give you figures of the numbers of dogs that have been rehomed in the last 4 years. Say from 2009, there was 185 dogs rehomed. In 2010, it was 338. In 2011, 453. And up to today, up to the 1st of October, which is the only figures I have available for 2012, is 283. Now, reclaimed dogs then in the pound here. In 2011, these are dogs that have been found straying, 58 dogs, and in 2012 was 52 dogs up to October the 1st. It's only dogs that are old and feeble or that are dangerous, that have damaged to livestock, will be put to sleep. All other dogs are rehomed.
Well, because there's so many dogs, there's thousands and thousands of dogs in the country at the moment that are being shipped over to England because they have no homes. So I don't see the point in buying a dog when there's so many out there that have no homes and would just love a good home.
Don't let the name Kerry Dog Pound deceive you, as the organisation works with a variety of different animals, from large animals like horses to smaller ones such as cats.
Most big towns have horses are not allowed to be kept in the precincts of the town, in the urban area of the town, and built up in most of the big towns in Kerry. And any horses in straying or grazing in banned areas like Ideal Land or Nama Land, which a lot of people undeveloped, unfinished estates and one thing or another like that. Any horses that are found grazing in these properties will be pounded.
Due to the hard work and dedication of the Kerry Dog Pound and the KSPCA, pet owners in Kerry who are unfortunate enough to lose their pet know that if found, the animal will be well cared for the duration of their stay.
It's a lot more fulfilling as you know that you're giving a dog that was abandoned or left homeless a new start and a new opportunity to be happy.
people have a greater awareness today of the needs of animals, and young people, you know, there's an educational awareness that you know, a dog is for life and not just for Christmas. And people are much more responsible today. And we also encourage people, and we point out that to them, you know, that this fluffy little puppy can become a very big dog, and it might outgrow your space, and you won't be able to look after it and walk it and exercise it that it requires. Now, if somebody comes in off the street and their dog has just died or something like that, we will give them access to, we'll show them what we have for them again. We'll ask them a lot of questions, like where they live and who's living with them, and if they have a family, if they have children, are they living in a built-up area, or are they living in a town? You know, are they living in the country or the town? And if there's neighbours around them, if they're living in an area that's frequented by sheep, by cattle, and that the dogs might stray and cause a nuisance. And we ask all these questions really in a roundabout way, and we build up a picture of the person and their environment and their circumstances, and you know, if they're living in rental accommodation or if they're living in permanent accommodation, and you know, the person has to be, a student has to be over 16 years of age, because they're not capable, they're not by law, they're not allowed to have a dog under 16 years of age. We often find students want to have a little dog in their apartment for and this is not permissible by the landlord, and the dog would be lying at home all day long, and and it wouldn't be fair to the student, and certainly wouldn't be fair to the dog. There's a contract. You have a form that's signed, and we can give you a copy of that form. I think we can show a copy of that form. And basically it says, I declare that I am a person with suitable accommodation for the dog described below, and I've examined the dog in question. I am satisfied that it shows no evidence of ill health or antisocial behaviour. I will take the dog to the veterinary surgeon immediately on receiving the dog, and have the dog vaccinated against disease in accordance with the advice of the veterinary surgeon. I accept full responsibility for the dog immediately on receiving it from Kerry County Council. I will not hold Kerry County Council liable in any way in relation to the dog thereafter. I have obtained a licence for the dog, and I have paid any service charges in relation to getting the dog, and accept that these are not refundable should I wish to return the dog. The other contracts are sometimes when dogs are handed in as strays and the owners turn up, and they can reclaim the dog, and they have to pay fees for for while the dogs are in the pound here, and also if we're called out at the weekend, or if we're called out at night if the dog is strayed, has to be picked up, they have to pay fees, pound fees, and they have to sign a contract as well, and they have to make sure that the dog is kept under control in the future. Now, sometimes a gate will blow open in wind and one thing or another. There are mitigating circumstances when dogs will stray, but by and large, if people are usually cautioned about it, and they're obliged to keep their dogs under control. We're dealing with the whole county. There's 139,000 people in Kerry. The function of the dog pound, I suppose, primarily is picking up stray dogs, as the name suggests. We also handle unwanted dogs and dangerous dogs, and rehoming, and we enforce the Control of Dogs Act 1986, 1992. A dog licence is a very important part of the thing here as well. The wardens. We have more licences in the second highest in Ireland. The population of Kerry is 139,835, and we have 19,138 licences, individual licences, and that's the second highest, 13.68% of population. I think Cork is higher than us. We're quite proud about that, and that's a good figure. That's for the year 2010. We also deal a lot with complaints by the public. Dogs attacking people, dogs attacking livestock, or dogs attacking other dogs, or dogs making nuisance. And we also, you know, sometimes when people don't keep the dogs under control, they have to be taken to court. But by and large, that's the last resort. And if people haven't, you know, if they haven't licenses, we were to court deal in Cardiff, that is the last resort. We usually put up a notice, you know, asking the owner to remove them, and we give them 2 to 3 days. And if the horses aren't removed, they're taken to Cork, and they're either rehomed or euthanized up there, depending on the circumstances of the horse. Any horse that's in poor condition, it has absolutely no future. And like if a cow or a sheep gets thin, it can be built up again, but a horse, if it gets thin, its stomach will collapse completely, so it has no future. But that is the unfortunate outcome. These are the kind of details that are required when a dog is surrendered to the pound. This would be an unwanted dog. We get the name, the address of the person who's surrendering the dog. It's the person, the name. I hereby declare that I am a person authorised by the owner of the dog described below, and I am surrendering the dog to you with regard to Section 12 of the Control of Dogs Act 1986, and agree to its disposal in accordance with the above Act. And with as a detail that's filled out, the description of the dog, the breed, the colour, the sex, the age approximately, and any other features. If the dog was vicious, or if the dog had bitten a child, or if the dog had done something like that, and it's dated, and the signature. And for pedigree dogs, the owner should provide their identification papers. And then we have a section B, is how the dog was disposed of. And if the dog is suitable for rehoming, then it's placed with a suitable owner. And the name of the veterinary surgeon, and the comments, and the date. Every dog that comes into the pound has a traceability. Every dog can be accounted for, even for years back. We have everything is accounted for, and that's a very useful thing, because in a lot of court cases and one thing or other, people, you know, maybe a dog attacked sheep or one thing like that, and we'll say in April of last year, and or the dog was handed into pound and disposed. Well, we can stand up and inform and say that the dog was disposed on the 11th of April, that it was handed in. So we provide a very useful service to the general public, and you know, it's also useful, you know, for dogs that are out of